Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. It's Kim from K&RP here in southeastern Manitoba. It is a beautiful 21 degrees Celsius out there already. It's 11 o'clock in the morning, 21 degrees. It's going to be a warm one out there. That means it's about 69 Fahrenheit-ish. Good morning, folks. Nice to see you. Jan and Teresa and Lee and Monica. Welcome. We're going to make some meal and muffin. I like these because I'll take them on road trips. When we were doing potting, they were great for having out on the trail. It's a muffin, it's got meat in it. The recipe's down below in the description box. Calls for quite a few eggs. But the nice thing with these muffins is you can use any kind of leftover meat and any kind of leftover vegetables. Although today I'm cheating. I have, what do I have? I've got taco meat that I pre-make and freeze for this kind of thing, or throw in salads, whatever. So I've got some frozen thawed taco meat, and I do not have cooked peppers. I did chop up 1.5 cups of peppers. Sometimes I'll have leftover corn. I'll use that. Whatever any mixture works. All right, we're gonna get started. So we're going to go down to the counter, like that. You can see my counter. We're going to start the stove. It says 375 Fahrenheit, so we'll do that. That's happening. So to start, it calls for 1.5 cups chopped vegetables. These are my vegetables. It's 1.5 cups. That's 1 medium red pepper. Maybe it's a little less than 1.5 cups. Yeah. It's okay. Doesn't matter. Just means there's a little bit more batter, right? Okay, 1.5 cups of vegetables, and it calls for 1.5 cups of meat. I packaged these in 1 cup bags because I find that makes a nice, if you're doing quesadillas or taco salad or whatever. And the nice thing after it's been frozen is a lot of fat stays stuck on the bag. So we need 1/2 cup of this. But before I do that, it also calls for 1/2 cup of white cheese. So I just grated up some mozzarella. That's a 1/2 cup measure. I'm just going to dump that in there. And then I'm going to scoop the meat with this 1/2 cup measuring cup. And I'm going to put the rest in the fridge. And I will add it to a salad. These muffins, of course, will go in the freezer. As I say, I like to have them when we're going on putt, etc. All right, there's that. There is that. All right, this is going to go back in the fridge. Still has a frozen chunk in it, so it wasn't sitting on the counter for too long. Those of you who are going, what are you doing, Kim? It also calls for 1 medium onion. I consider this a medium onion. I have 1 chopped already. Makes quite a bit when it's chopped. So I diced it more than chopped it, I'll admit. But still. So that's the filling that goes in the batter that we're going to make. We're supposed to mix that up. We'll just give it a little bit of a mix. Everybody have a good week. It's been a long time since I've played cooking with you guys. Long time. It's because April had 5 Sundays. And I didn't think you guys would want to see me 2 Sundays in a row. All right, so we've got that mixed up. So now, in a separate bowl, we're supposed to do 6 eggs. So I've got eggs here. I'm going to break them into this bowl just in case I get shells. I always manage to get shells. Can you see this? No. I need to move over. How's that? Is that better? Morning, Andrea. Good morning, Ann. Nice to see you guys. Hey, Belinda. Welcome, welcome. We are making meal in a muffin. And as I said, I'm using taco meat because I had that in the freezer. I've done it with chicken. I've done it with ham. I've done it with turkey. Whatever you've got. This is one of those great recipes that you make it and you use what you have. So it calls for 6 eggs. As I say, I'm going to break them separately just because I don't want to futz with shells and the big bowl. Everybody good? I hope everybody's good. I'm having a lovely day. It's sunny. I was out watering the greenhouse already. I still have plants to transplant. That's going to be my project once I am done here. Of course, these muffins are going to be for lunch. So, oh, is that ground beef in there? I think so. We're just going to scoop that out. If you get some shell or something and use your eggshell to pull it out, it's much easier than trying to dig for it with your fingers. 6 eggs. I know, that's like gold for you guys down in the south. Oh, Belinda's up to mischief. Hey, Hawaiian. Nice to see you. Nice to see you here. All right, this is going to go in the sink. I am going to rinse my hands because it's raw egg, and you know, we always want to be a little bit careful with that kind of thing. A little bit careful. All right. You ever up to mischief? Uh-huh. I'm never up to mischief either. So I'm going to just use a whisk, and we're supposed to beat these till they're frothy. We're just going to beat these really nice. I didn't want to pull out the machine because I wanted to talk to you and chat and visit while we're doing this. What have you guys been up to? I've had a fun week. We met friends in the city for lunch on Wednesday. And Thursday, the kids were here for paint night. Friday, I had my grandson here for the morning because I had to drive him to work because his mom was working in the office, not from home. Yesterday, I went and visited my sister. Today, I'm here. Tomorrow, I've got a play date. I'm going to consider that good. I know they're not frothy, but they're really well mixed. If I happen to have a carton of egg whites, I will use enough egg whites for 4 eggs and just 2 complete eggs because, you know, you don't always need that amount of egg. Mind you, this does make a fair bit of muffins, you know. All right, so beat eggs, blend in oil. Oh, see, I dumped that in the sink and I didn't blend in the oil. You can use a spoon. How much oil do we need? We need ½ cup of oil. The measuring cup's too big. You can still figure it out. Okay, so the ½ cup line is way down here at the bottom. Can we see that? We can see that. All right. No, down a little bit. Down, okay. Down, down. There you go. ½ cup of oil. And yes, this one I do use oil for. I will use coconut oil. I won't use olive oil because it got too strong a flavor. You want something reasonably bland. There's the oil. Now it calls for 1½ cups of flour. So we are going to use this 1 cup measure. It says add all the remaining ingredients except for the meat mixture. So there's the old Tupperware container. We're doing 1 cup. Can we see? Can we see? I can see. 1 cup of flour. Now we need ½ cup of flour. And because my ½ cup one was in the meat, I'm going to use the ¼ cup measure and do it twice. 1, 2. Oh, call for 1¼ cups flour. Well, we're just going to take some of that out because it's on top, and because it was in with the eggs, it's just gonna go in the trash, which is fine. Where did I get 1.5 from? Because I was looking at the vegetables, right? Right. Yeah, Kim's not with it again today. How come I'm never with it when I'm cooking with you guys? Add a tablespoon of baking powder. Pink pieces, yellow pieces. Oh, good. Perfect angle to see. Okay, so it calls for a tablespoon of baking powder. So I've got my magic baking powder, 1 tablespoon. I'm going to sprinkle that so it spreads a little bit better. Calls for 1 teaspoon of oregano. Now I buy my herbs in bulk, so I put it in different like these containers, because I did buy lots of those real, like the little glass ones, and then I would have all these bags of stuff in there, and some of them didn't stay closed. I'd have spices and herbs everywhere. It wasn't a fun thing. 1 teaspoon of oregano coming up. Now, if you don't like any of these spices, omit them. Just omit them, you know. Oh, that hit the floor. It's okay. And it calls for a teaspoon of parsley. Again, it's in a, you know, for a while I didn't label my stuff because I knew what I had in what container. And then the kids are over and they're going, Mom, what is this? You know, so I had to do it so my children knew what was happening. Calls for a 1/4 teaspoon of thyme. Sometimes what I'll do when I do the chili meat, like the taco meat and peppers, I will use just chili powder instead of all these mixed. Thyme and a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic. That one's actually in a straight container. And of course, because I like garlic, I'm not going to level that too much. Sprinkle that. Now we're going to mix this up, and we're going to blend it with that. Get a spoon. I've got a spoon. So this is just the batter kind of happening here, you know. You just want it all mixed nice. Make sure it's well blended, and then you stir in the meat mixture. I'm going to pour it over the meat mixture and stir it because I can. So then it says pour into greased or paper-lined muffin tins, filling to the top. I have silicone muffin tins there. All right. You got to show for a hat form. I love it. I love it. All right. So you can see that the flour has clumped on the spoon. Just scrape it off and mix it in. Again, if you have a mixer or whatever, by all means use it. I am just showing that you can do things without all the fancy gadgets. So these are almost like a baked omelet in muffin form. Does that make sense? So it's a thicker batter, right? And we're going to pour it into here. You're going to scrape it. I've got the spatula. Again, you know, these recipes are easy. They don't take that long to make up. You just need to have your ingredients and know. But yeah, like I say, if I've done it with ham, if I've got like leftover peas and carrots or corn, they all go in. It all goes into these muffins. You can adjust the seasonings, you know, the flavors of spices you use. I've used mushrooms with chicken. Again, this muffin recipe, as long as you have the amounts specified for the fillings, it will work. It will work. All right, now we're going to mix all this together. and get it all over the counter evidently. Can you see? Yeah, Kim's getting it all over the counter because that's just what happens in our world. So it's very thick, but that's fine. It's fine. So if you don't have leftover meat and you want to make these kinds of things, just cook up a couple of chicken breasts. Even you can get like a piece of cooked ham from the deli and chop it up to put in here. Bacon, whatever kind of meat you've got. And because I used ground beef, I was thinking you could probably even use lentils if you were wanting something with less fats and stuff in it. Avocado toast and low carb bread earlier. Yeah. Hey, Jerry. Welcome, welcome. This is a great way to use up leftovers. Not that everybody's got leftovers, but sometimes you get leftovers. Sometimes your families don't like leftovers, right? I get it. I have one grandchild that refuses to eat leftovers. Well, too bad. You get nothing then, right? Okay, so it says to fill your muffin cups reasonably full. So I'm just going to do this because it's much easier. Fill it to the top. Sometimes I've gotten as many as 18 out of one of these recipes. I don't know why. Maybe I chop things bigger. I don't know. Anyway, this mixture has taco meat, red peppers, mozzarella cheese, and onions. Oop. You know, I suppose I could even put some black beans in there if I had leftover black beans. Oh, thanks. You're listening to the book, Ugly? What book are we talking about? Is that the one Monica's reading? And they don't puff up too much, even with all that baking powder in there. They don't rise too ridiculous. But they do manage to rise. These are great in lunch boxes if you've got kids that, you know, take lunches. As I say, I like to make them, put them in the freezer. It's another of those grab and go things. If we're going on putt or, you know, decide that we're going to have a picnic somewhere. I like these. I think I'll get the 12 out of this batch. If you're using green beans, leftover green beans, dice them up. If you're using broccoli also, you need to dice it. Broccoli, cauliflower, you want smaller pieces. Man from Australia who was born with multiple serious deformities. Oh dear. I'm going to force these into the 12. Force them into the 12. Now, I could have done them right in the muffin pan. I'm lazy. I didn't feel like greasing it because you do need to grease it for these. Yeah, they're going to be hefty. I've got enough for probably one more, so I'm just going to split it up. So really, though, you know, you figure it. 6 eggs, 12 muffins. That's not too bad. But with the ground beef and everything, there's still a fair bit of unhealthier fats. Those of you who are concerned, this is definitely more of a younger person's meal if they're not concerned about things. The reason I'm doing this is because I don't want to put an entire muffin pan in for like 2 muffins. So I'm cheating, making them bigger, which means I will give them a little bit extra cooking time as well. Just because. And I don't think my oven's running quite right temperature-wise. I made sourdough biscuits the other day when my kids were here for supper. And I had to put them back in for another 6 minutes, which was really weird. But I haven't made sourdough biscuits in forever, and I've never used this stove for them, so it's all understandable. Okay, we're just getting the last scrapings out. I cannot stand the sound of metal on metal. I have willies happening up and down my spine from that. Not fun. Not fun. I've developed this really weird thing about metal on metal sound. Can't do it. Cannot do it. All right. All right. So since I stuck my hand in it, I'm gonna rinse my hands again. And that's how easy it is to make this stuff. Granted, I had, what, 10 minutes of prep beforehand, chopping up the pepper and the onion. And I mean, if you had leftover meat, you would also chop that up. So yeah, they're well filled, full, 12 to 15 muffins, it says it makes. That would have probably been 14. You know, I probably would have got 2 extra muffins out of that. But I don't have a 6 muffin pan either, so it makes a difference. All right, into the oven it goes. And it says 20 to 25 minutes. So I'm going to do it for 15 to start, and then I'm going to rotate the pan because the back of my oven is hotter than the front of my oven. You know? And it's a new oven. Well, okay, it's a relatively new oven. I had an old oven that was absolutely fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. So those are in the oven. Ding. Okay, pull this lid up. It needs to be washed. So that's how fast and simple those muffins were. And did you try the egg white bites? You got to rotate things too. Hey, Malia, nice to see you. I made sourdough starter, Malia, and since you said that you love the crackers, I want to make some crackers with my sourdough starter. I found a recipe that calls for using the discard, so that made me excited. Got to rotate. Oh, okay, no problem, man. With the discard, yeah. So the recipe I found, I'm totally off track here, guys. So for the discard, I found this recipe where you just take the discard, some butter, and some oil, and you just spread it out on parchment paper on the pan as thin as you can and bake it. And then after 10 minutes, you cut them, or you can just leave them and break them off once they're baked. And then you're supposed to leave it in the oven for 40 minutes. Is that the same kind of thing? Just curious. Just curious. Okay, now we're going to make chocolate syrup. This is in no way healthy, but it is healthier than the stuff that you purchase in the stores because there's no preservatives. Jesse's watching the screen. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. You don't have the patience to do most of what? On the big screen. Like fiction with Catherine. I love Catherine Cook. You can't find her stuff in the library anymore. It made It's me crazy. I used to have just about all her stuff because my mom was from Yorkshire. So she had all the books, but you know, they were well loved. Discard olive oil, seasonings, and Parmesan cheese. And that's all you add in them and just spread them out, Malia? Hey, Shannon, nice to see you, hon. Oh, my earrings. Yeah, I have lots of earrings. All right. All right. Let's do this syrup. It's really easy. When we do crepe breakfasts, I always make chocolate syrup because the kids like chocolate syrup sometimes. I like it for like if you do banana split crepes. No, they would not go on top of these buns. I don't think a sweet chocolate syrup would go on top of these muffins with the chili powder and oregano and stuff. Super thin? Okay. Yeah, but you know what? I really like the thick ones because then you can use them with like egg salad or something on top. Oh, Cookson's your maiden name? That's awesome. That's very awesome, Pan. Sourdough discard, yeah. That's you take some out when you go to feed your starter. So the stuff you take out is considered discard. All right. No, this chocolate syrup on top of ice cream. I use it in milk to make chocolate milk for the grandkids. I put it on top of waffles and pancakes, ice cream. Yeah, it's more of a treat, decadent. But like I say, with the grandkids, it's got a fair bit of sugar in it, but it doesn't have lots of dyes and preservatives. You had a starter, but it went away. You know what I do, Malia? Once I find that my crackers get a golden brown, I just turn the oven off and leave them in the oven and then check them after about 10-15 minutes just to help dry them out. All right, this can go away. We don't need garlic or parsley. In the, this is my spice cupboard. I have 3 rows like that and a totally separate cupboard and a drawer full of little spice jars. Yeah. So I have lots of spices. You can't find the recipe anymore? Oh, you were kidding? Oh, okay. Okay. Spices, we don't need that. We are going to do the chocolate syrup that gets cooked on top of the stove. So you need a pot. And in the pot, you put 3/4 of a cup of cocoa. I have a 3/4 measuring cup. Now I have a partial bag. And I'm hoping that that's enough. I do have a full bag as well, but you know, use the old stuff first. Okay, so I will turn this down right away. I'm just gonna shake this a little bit. Cocoa makes a big mess. All right, we're going back down to the counter. I got cocoa everywhere. No, you can't see it. I have cocoa everywhere. There we go. There we go. I need a couple more tablespoons to fill that up. Just to, because it's really not quite 3/4 of a cup. So we just could top that. Like I said, I use this for making chocolate milk. I will add it to milk to make almost like a fudgicle kind of thing in those popsicle tray things. Oh, I'm calling that 3/4 of a cup. Because it's all over the counter. And this is what I mean about having spice mixes and stuff. You know these Ziploc things? Look at the chocolate all over. These Ziploc things, they just don't. So I've got these plastic things, I use these. That way I know it's not gonna fall over in my cupboard and make a big mess. Okay, so it calls for 1 1/4 cups of sugar. This had flour in it. This had nothing in it. This is a 1/2 cup. So we're gonna use this. So a 1/2 cup, 2 times is 1 cup. 1, 2, am I on screen? Yes. And then a 1/4 cup, it's a 1/3. My 1/4 cup one's gone. I need a 1/4 cup measure. Oh, that's because I put the flour in it. Oh, Kim's on the roll. Okay, and a 1/4 cup. 1 1/4 cups of sugar. I can get this off my country now. Now we have to mix this up quite well because cocoa floats. This makes about 1.5 cups of syrup. It can last quite a long time if you store it in the fridge, unless you've got a chocoholic in your family that thinks that it needs to go in absolutely everything. Okay, so I've mixed the sugar and the cocoa together. Now I need 1 cup of water. Let's use a glass measuring cup. The one that actually, so that's here, 1 cup of water to the 8, to the 8, to the 8, to the 8. A little bit more. There we go. So that's 1 cup of water. Pour it in. And then we stir it. And like I say, cocoa floats. So you want to make sure this is really nice and stirred in. Because if you put it on the stove like this and you're not paying too much attention to it, it will burn. It will burn. But this is nice drizzled just on like a vanilla muffin or whatever. It doesn't take much. Or if you're having like a fancy dessert cheesecake thing, you could just do a swirl with it on the plate. You know, if you want to be fancy dancy. All right, so it's pretty smooth. Not much in the way of lumps. We're going to go over to the stove now. We're going to put it on the stove. On the stove. Okay, let's see if I can tighten this. Tighten it. I'm short. It's going to slide down. How bad are you going to slide down? Can we go like that? Whoa! No! Back up here. Where's the one to hold it like that? Okay, maybe I just got to turn you. I just want to make sure you guys can see what I'm doing on the stove. How's that? Almost? Almost? No. There we go. Don't move. Stay right there. All right. Old playlists. What are we talking about? It will bloom. Okay, so we're going to turn this on medium-high heat to start, and then I will turn it down. This needs to be stirred the whole time. Once it comes to a boil, it does need to be stirred constantly. It takes like 5 minutes on the stove. All right. Let me turn this so I can see the conversation that's going on here and I can participate. Ready to eat chocolate plant? Oh, that would be lovely, wouldn't it? Turn it down just a little bit because I've got 1 minute and 42 seconds before I need to turn the muffins. They smell really good, by the way. Thanks, Andrea. Chocolate and mint makes the best tea. Oh, chocolate mint tea is very good. Very good. Evidently, in BC, not here, my girlfriend from BC, when she was visiting, said that she can get chocolate cosmos flowers. They bloom brown, but they smell like chocolate as well. Probably not edible, but I can't find seeds here for that. No how. Not that I've got room for cosmos flowers anymore, but everything's full of lilies. Did you see my? Did you see this? This is one of my tea towels. Your opinion is not a part of the recipe. I made a whole bunch of tea towels for the kids and grandkids for Christmas one year. There we go. Turn these around. Can you see my oven? Look how lovely they look. Do you see those? You can. So that was 10 minutes, so let's put them on for another 10, and we'll test. Now we're going to get this to a boil. Oh, cool, Jan. If you do, take pictures and let me know what if they do indeed. I mean, I believe her. She has a landscape company, but I just thought that was just so cool. And of course, I didn't get to any greenhouses last year with you, so that I couldn't look for flowers or seeds. She lives in Saanich, so I don't know if everything is island wide or not. Hey, Mr. Stir Crazy, you had a girlfriend once? Oh, oh. You caught me on a cooking day, not a play. Well, it's still play, but we're making a meal in a muffin and chocolate sauce. Not for on the muffins, because the muffins are taco flavor. Oh, the timer perked her up. Awesome. So once this is boiled for the 5 minutes, you take it off the heat and let it cool, and then you add vanilla. But seriously, this is a really nice treat to have on waffles or, you know, actually on banana bread too. Can you see it's boiling? If I take it off the stove, it's going to yellow. And let's set the timer for 5 minutes. Right. Oh, it doesn't say stir constantly on the recipe. If you happen to print the recipe out, please remember to add that. And the reason you want to stir it constantly is because if it boils over onto your stove, it's going to be a big sticky mess. And it's not going to smell very nice. So, guys, I got the paint for painting my knotted door. So I'm going to be working on that very shortly. Repainting my knotted door. I'm excited. I want to get it done before there are forest fires so that, you know, because once there's fires and there's smoke in the air, I'm not outside because I can't breathe. That puts you right on the burner. It's traveling chocolate pot. They are fluffing up. Well, okay. I have added cocoa to like the enchilada sauce and to chili to help smooth out the acidity. And I know that chocolate and chili goes really good together. I just don't know about the other spices that are in there, whether it's going to be something I want to experience or not. Oh, I'm excited. I haven't made these muffins for a while. My freezers are full. And I've decided that what I make here on the channel is stuff that I'm out of. So you'll see the kinds of stuff I like to load my freezers with. The chocolate sauce I don't freeze unless as I say, I add it to some milk and put it into popsicles. They don't hold together very good. If you're going to try it, they don't set up because it's syrup. Just a syrup. And don't splash this on you because, again, it is hot sugar, and if it sticks to you, it's going to leave a big mark and not a very pleasant one. Thanks, Monica. Oh, chocolate on top. No, I don't know that I would even want to put chocolate on top of this. Maybe if they were like a strawberry muffin or a cherry muffin. Ooh. See, now if I did my cooking on Mondays, I could call it Muffin Mondays, and we could do a different muffin every Monday because I have a bazillion and one muffins. But then that would just mean that there's too much baking in the house that I would have to eat. But we could definitely make some sort of muffins on one of the cooking shows. A muffin and something. "55 seconds left on this chocolate sauce. Woohoo! But as I say, I use this to make chocolate milk for the grandkids. We've had it on waffles. We do banana split crepes or banana split waffles. So it's the drizzle on top. Put it on ice cream. Anything else you would use the chocolate sauce? Anything you would use chocolate sauce. Doot, doot, doot. What exciting stuff have you guys got planned for this afternoon? Do I reheat the muffins? I'll either way. That was this, so I'm turning off the power to the top of the stove. And look, it's still really bubbling. So we're going to put that aside to cool. And once it's cool, I will add a teaspoon of vanilla. Back to the question. Either. If I'm at home and I have a microwave, bonus. I can reheat them. If we're out on the trail, I'll eat them cold. Cold works too, yeah. Yeah, I've done them in smaller ones as well, like the mini muffin tins, definitely. Oh, thanks, Lee. Thank you very much for coming. Have a wonderful day. Wonderful day. Yeah, and I mean, if you want to add like some cream cheese filling or something to them, you can cut them and put cream cheese filling on them. But really, they are ready to rock when they are, you know, cooked. We're in this cupboard. We're looking for toothpicks so that we can test the muffins. And yeah, no, I like having things like that. You know, sometimes you get unexpected company for lunch or supper, and you can put these out as well to help fill up the plates. You love this tablet stand? That one? This one? Ron built that for me. Surprise! Because I'm spoiled. I've got that tall one, and then I've got a short one, so that if you're just sitting at the table or whatever, it's not super high up. The problem is that if you're chatting on it, the angle isn't great. I have to put something behind it. But this one actually has a wing nut, just like me, he says, to do it, to adjust it so that it works. And he made one for Jan too. Hey, Tina, welcome. All right. Yes. Shannon now has a member live stream on Zoom where everybody can participate. So if you are a member of Shannon's group, please head on over. There we go. Let's turn the timer off and let's test these. Test these, test these. We'll go back over here. Like that, like that. Oh yeah, they're cooked. 20 minutes, these ones are cooked. Didn't have to give them extra time. Turn this off. And they are lovely looking. Can you see those? See those? So we'll pull one out. And take a knife and cut it open so you guys can see what the insides look like. I like the fact with the red pepper, they're kind of festive. Pretty warm. We'll go over here. We'll go over here. Doot, doot, doot. Like that. I have to admit, I really like silicone molds for this kind of thing. Very hot. Yeah, and you know what? They are so simple, and especially when my aunt, after her husband died, she just absolutely hated cooking for herself. So she would do like 6 chicken breasts, and then she'd get tired of eating just plain chicken breasts. And so, you know, this kind of thing would be perfect for that, right? So, two, if you were putting chicken in here instead of the ground beef, and you used like a poultry seasoning instead of, I mean, this is basically a poultry seasoning minus the sage, swap the oregano for sage, and it would taste like chicken with stuffing, right? So, forensic scientist, yeah. So, Nice texture. I have not tried putting tomatoes in them. I think they would be much soggier. These are moist. They're not soggy. I can taste it. Yeah, chicken and dressing. They don't really need butter, Belinda. I mean, you could, but it almost tastes like a burrito, you know? Something in a wrap. But again, like I say, I love having these in the freezer. Grab one for lunch. It's good to go. So I'd like to thank you guys all for being here and putting up with my dropping things on the floor, etc. I hope that you try one of these recipes if you so desire. Again, this has the taco meat in it. When I make my taco meat, it's pretty darn spicy. So I can't really taste, I can taste the thyme and the oregano, and I can't taste the garlic. Anyway, I use peppers. If you are using leftover meats and vegetables, sky's the limit. Whatever you like. Again, chicken, if you put in some corn or peas and the spice mix kind of thing that you would use for stuffing, it'd be like chicken and stuffing. So thanks everybody for being here. See how nice the chocolate syrup, it thickens up as it cools too. So it's getting, you can see as it drips slow, like if you do jam and stuff, can you see that? I don't know where I am. Over here, no, over there. There we go, there we go. So you know when you do jam and you do the drizzle test or you do candy and it takes slow to drip because it's thickening, this is starting to thicken really nicely. And on that note, love to you all. Thanks for being here. I will see you Tuesday. If you try anything, please let me know and what you think of it. And I will see you very soon. Everybody in the chat, everybody in the balcony, and any replayers, thank you so much. Take care, everyone. Bye now.